Even as we're walking through it, I'm thinking, this is gonna be really cool for someone, but not for us. We can't do this. I came home, told Christine how fantastic this place was, but we pretty much dismissed it. The next morning, I'm in the shower, and it just hits me like a ton of bricks. You are never going to find another place like this. This is it.
Welcome to the next generation of hospitality entrepreneurs, a special series brought to you by Behind the Stays. I'm your host, Zach Cruz, co-founder and CEO of Spontaneous and host of the Behind the Stays podcast. In this episode, you'll meet Kimball and Christine, the visionaries and creators behind the Cliffs at Hocking Hills, a boutique micro-resort just 45 minutes outside of Columbus, Ohio.
I'm Kimball.
And I'm Christine, and we're the founders at the Cliffs at Hocking Hills. We met at a church camp in Myrtle Beach. Over the years in high school, we both were musicians and we would lead worship at our church, and we just became like best buds.
Which I would have loved for that to be more than best buds, for sure.
But it wasn't. The light bulb went off for me some point in my senior year of high school, and he was already in college. And then after I graduated, we started dating. The rest is history. We were trying to move to this area of town that was really expensive, but that's where everyone in our church community was moving. We couldn't afford the rent, and my dad was like, hey, let's buy a house, you guys fix it up, which is what we did. I look back at some of the things we did, like painting all the cabinets brown, painting a lot of things prison gray. I don't know. It didn't turn out that great, but we still ended up doing really well when we sold that at 2 years later.
And I think what was particularly helpful with that experience, we had absolutely no money, and we did have to get creative. We were pretty committed to the one income household idea, but we live in a fairly expensive part of the city, and I was making $40,000 a year. Not easy. So I started buying and selling gift cards on Craigslist, and then music equipment, and started this whole business. Eventually a buddy's just asked me, why aren't you doing this with houses? It seems a lot easier. Okay, yeah, we should do that. So that kind of started a real estate side hustle journey for us. We were in the campus rental world for a few years, and we did develop a niche there. Our niche was just lots of bedrooms. I heard some guy on the Bigger Pockets podcast years ago talk about bedrooms, being gold. So we learned how to dig out basements, finish attics, had a ton of bedrooms and bathrooms to B, C grade campus area rentals.
We had a couple of friends who had Airbnbs, kind of watching them operate. I liked design. We really like hosting. We like hospitality. And we just thought, this could be something cool. Why don't we give it a try? Kimball and I love Ohio. Absolutely love our hometown, Columbus. We love Hocking Hills, and we just feel like Ohio is underrated. People don't often realize what an amazing state it is, and it's kind of been a passion project for us for years, well before Airbnb. I remember 10 years ago us being at my friend's wedding in San Diego, and I'm telling people at the reception all the reasons that Columbus or Ohio is amazing and they need to come. That's what we wanted to do with this place, is to create a place that was so amazing that it would open people's eyes to travel maybe somewhere they didn't realize they wanted to go until seeing the Cliffs.
We'd been through a pretty rough period. Christine had cancer. We were just out for a little while. It had been a number of years since we'd really taken a serious trip with our family, and we had 3 little kids at the time. I'm a pastor. My co-pastor had been pushing me to take a sabbatical for quite a while. waterfalls. So we spent 2 months in Bali, and that was just a fantastic time for our family, connecting with one another. Experiencing Balinese hospitality is something truly special.
Top notch. They know how to do hospitality. They know how to create amazing experiences. Everyone in Bali is an artisan. It's beautiful.
I'm in Bali and I'm scouring, not the MLS because we're not a candidate. I don't have the resources to pull the trigger. So I'm scouring Facebook and Craigslist, random dark corners of the internet. But we had no money and no credit at the time. But we just started looking. So we knew roughly what we wanted to do, but it was going to be small. It was not going to be a boutique resort. It wasn't going to be a lodge. It was going to be a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, small place, basically that you could do on a credit card. That's what I was looking for. Every time I pull her and the kids up to a property, she's
I'm like, this isn't it.
You know,
the trees weren't impressive. The nature was just kind of, okay, you can get this anywhere.
You know, she's trying to be optimistic, but I could see the look in her eyes.
I always try to be the yes, to say yes to the ideas, but
it's a look that I know well.
Everything was a no.
And again, this was a Craigslist deal, Craigslist situation. So I asked him, Bob, you know, of course his name's Bob. Bob, you have anything else? Are you holding out on me? You have anything else that you can show me? He's like, actually, I do. And he takes half a day, drives me around Hocking Hills, shows me half a dozen places. And the very last place that he showed me is what is now the Cliffs. Even as we're walking through it, I'm thinking, this is gonna be really cool for someone, but not for us. We can't do this. I came home, told Christine how fantastic this place was, but you know, we pretty much dismissed it. The next morning, I'm in the shower, and it just hits me like a ton of bricks. You are never going to find another place like this. This is it.
Hey folks, I want to take a quick second to thank the sponsor for today's episode, which is none other than Minoan. Here's a quick word from Christine and Kimball on their experience using Minoan.
My first impression was, oh, okay, well, if this is real, if this is actually a real thing.
There was that
this
slight,
could be,
is this real thing?
This could be really nice.
Minoan reached out to us on Instagram, just reached out and said, hey, would you consider looking? We're a newer company. We work with all these different brands and offer trade discounts. And would you be willing to take a look? We were in the beginning stages of planning our next phase of building the bungalows. So I thought, you know, I mean, yeah, we might as well just hear about it if it could save us a lot of money.
Once we started ordering, we saw, okay, this would have been a no-brainer even if it was a little extra hassle, but it is so much easier. Ordering everything through one spot. You put all your orders in, it takes just a few minutes. They've got everything priced out, everything ready to go for you. Every single time, Minoan has everything back to us, organized, orderly, like that. It's I don't know how they do it. With Minoan, we can give guests a West Elm Crate and Barrel experience for IKEA prices.
The team there is just amazing too. I mean, they all feel like my friends. They really do have the best brand partnerships.
It's an easy decision to make.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to not use Minoan.
A lot of times when I buy something, I look at Instagram and I see a brand, oh, that's recognizable, okay, I'm gonna go buy that. It seems trusted. That's my market research, I guess. So I knew what would sell to other people like me who would then get their husbands or their group of girls together to take a trip or their family. I guess I would say I knew what people would see when they're looking through the photos and they recognize some brands. Even maybe they recognize the coffee maker because they've seen it on other influencers' pages. That little slight edge, I think, can make people pull the trigger on staying at your cabin. But we knew we wanted to design for a certain market, and we were willing to just take a chance that spending triple on a couch would pay us back, and it did. I hate it when I go somewhere with we have 5 kids, and I have to redecorate the Airbnb because there's so much decor and so much going on that my kids could break something. And so the way that we decorate, it's all kind of waist up. And things that would be at a kid's level are not going to be breakable. We do have a lot of guests mention that it surprises them how child-friendly it is.
When we had our city Airbnb, Christine felt like Instagram would be an important piece of the business model for us, and I didn't see it. I didn't want to be a naysayer, but I just didn't see it. Like, well, I mean, who's gonna do that?
I mean, we were getting to the end of our renovation and literally just had no money.
Yeah.
I mean, we were running out of money thinking, oh my gosh, are we gonna be eating ramen noodles? So Airbnb, you don't get your payout until, the week of the stay, and we needed money right then and there. So we just decided, we have a small following on Instagram. It's grown to be a little bit more, but let's just first launch it direct booking, and just even if we just get 3 bookings that way, that would be a big thing. And we were just blown away. So we just decided, let's just hold off on Airbnb. We'll see if we can do a little bit more. And then we did a launch in January just on our direct booking, and it broke the platform that we were using.
We have a simple Squarespace website, myself and a friend designed. I mean, it's nothing complicated, but it's simple and I think beautiful.
Pleasing.
It fits within our brand well. So there has to be a foundation, but really it's because people love waterfalls.
Yeah,
they love waterfalls.
There's a lot of beautifully designed cabins, but not many with a waterfall you can swim in.
There's something so magical and beautiful about swimming in a place where you just shouldn't be able to. It shouldn't work that way. Without that, I do think we would have had some success with direct booking, but not nearly what we've seen. My expectations initially were that this would be a side hustle, and we would be more involved with it than a typical city Airbnb, but still, it's kind of under someone else's operational management. It just so far outperformed our original expectations. Thank God, because I think the first pro forma that I put together trying to sell this with investors and the bank, if those numbers would have panned out, we would have failed. This place was much more expensive to run than I anticipated. I was so far off in my estimates.
But also far off in what it would make too.
Yes, and thankfully I was conservative with the revenue projections. We were outpaced by 10x probably. I mean, hugely outpaced what we were expecting. The place where the swimming hole waterfall is at the lodge was totally overgrown and covered up. We had no idea it was there.
Yeah.
Couldn't see it at all. And one day, midway through our renovation, I climbed down a hill and ventured to that part of the property that was hard to access for the first time. And I got down there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. All this rock face, this is so cool.
Because even without a waterfall, it's just the view from the bottom looking up is so cool.
It's gorgeous. Cliffs wouldn't be what it is without Josh, not even close. He created a trail for us, and I just saw this guy is like Michelangelo.
He's a nature artist.
Of nature. What the heck? He came in a day and created this beautiful trail with the materials that were already there. Who does that? So, Josh, can you build a staircase down to this swimming hole to this mud pit. Really, it was a mud pit at the time.
Mud pit.
So we spent quite a while building a staircase to nothing, really. And as we're standing down there, it was so hard to access without the staircase. We're kind of taking it all in. Josh mentions, I don't know if he was joking or not, like, man, it'd be so cool to have a swimming pool down here.
Because there's a natural little basin.
And as soon as those words left his mouth, like, dude, we have to do this. We have to make it happen. Like, this place was made for a waterfall swimming hole. Yeah. Again, we had
no money. This was towards the end, and like, really, we're getting down to the wire.
Like, can we do this for a few $1,000s? And, you know, I'll borrow some more money on a credit card or something. Can we make it happen? It ended up costing a lot more than that, and I mean, we barely got to the finish line. And we just figured out how to recirculate the water using pond liner.
A lot of creativity.
Found a lot of deals.
A lot of figuring stuff out.
Josh was committed to the project, and I did have to tell Josh.
I had my doubts the whole time because the whole time it was being worked on, it was so unsightly as it was getting dug out and it was muddy, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what do we do if this doesn't work out? This is right off the back deck.
Christine was a doubter, but she also believed in me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, but go for it. I will let you guys run with this.
I guess foundation piece number one, like you have to have a great spouse where you know, because failure could have happened. And I knew, like, if I fail at this, it could cost us, there could be some pain, but Christine's not gonna be mad at me. Like, we're on the same page, even though she doesn't see the vision totally yet.
Some risks are worth trying, taking.
I think for us, you know, another thing, and really the main thing that gives us confidence to take the next step and take risks is that through our failures, these have been times of tears and prayer. Those become moments of intense prayer and asking the Lord for help, and I've just seen him come through. So the bungalows were nearly done before we started construction on Sandstone Falls. They were at least in the latter phase. We didn't know what we were gonna do, but we came back from this trip we had taken, and with some fresh vision, kind of realizing the bungalows are beautiful and natural and modern. They're gonna be so enjoyable for people to stay, but they don't have that X factor in the summer yet. They don't have that X factor that the lodge has. And you know, we wanna get better and be more excellent and push boundaries more as time goes on, and not just say, oh, we did this cool thing and now we're just gonna throw up a bunch of shells. You know, we have a following, so people are gonna stay here. That's not our MO, that's not how we want to operate. So Josh says, let me just show you this one spot. Okay, I know you wanna do something down here, let me show you this one spot. I just have a great feeling about this one spot. He walks me up to a hill. It's just
covered in dirt and shrubs.
Josh has a metal rod, just pushes it in the ground. He's like, you hear that? That's sandstone right there, you know, a foot under the ground in this spot, 6 inches in this spot. Here, I can't tell, you know, it might be 4 or 5 feet under the ground. What Josh uncovered at the end of that time was a canvas far, far beyond what we could have imagined.
It's this natural sandstone shelf going all the way down. It was just so easy to envision what this could be. Once we started excavating that. And every time I came down, and Kimball was down a lot, but I'd come down, you know, maybe once a week. Every time it was just like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. It's gonna be amazing. We could see the potential. We've been in growth mode for so long. So we finished the lodge, and it wasn't that much longer that, I mean, this whole area at the bungalows, it's been growing, building, figuring out all these things. So then really getting into the nitty-gritty of running the business and helping our team, everybody be in the right seat and do it the very, very best and to really thrive as a business. I'd say that we're kind of in the thick of really learning that. We want every year for the Cliffs to be adding maybe new cabins, but also new experiences. And we always want to be leveling up every single year so that even repeat guests are going to experience something new and amazing.
Right now we're working on the fundamentals, really design, financing, and just in the early planning stages for the next build, which is going to be a little bit bigger bungalow. That's kind of where we're at. You know, we have 100 acres here at the Cliffs. Feels like 300 because we're surrounded by state park. There's so many elevation changes throughout the property. So building out the trail system, there's a lot of fun ideas.
Yeah, there's no shortage of ideas.
And the water features.
The water features are gonna get.
They're gonna keep coming.
They're gonna keep coming.
They're gonna keep coming, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Next Generation of Hospitality Entrepreneurs. If you enjoyed this story, you'll enjoy loads of our other stories, which you can find on our channel. And if you're looking for more content around the stories behind the world's greatest Airbnbs and the people behind them, be sure to check out our podcast, Behind the Stays, which publishes new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. You can find Behind the Stays wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're in the market for last-minute incredible deals on Airbnbs, be sure to check out Spontaneous, the internet's best destination for last-minute deals and upcoming steals on Airbnb. Be sure to follow the Cliffs at Hocking Hills on Instagram and check out their website in the show notes below.